Hi all, I have an amazing game to show you today. Viktor Korchnoi playing white against Yasser Seirawan. This was played in 1984 in the Phillips from Drew tournament. Let's see this game. Knight f3 from Viktor. So the Reti opening, we have d5, c4, and now black plays d4. Is this too committal? White plays the second most popular move here, b4. So this seems extremely logical. Sometimes the bishop can come to b2. That pawn looks a bit of a target. Now, a very surprising, you might, if you haven't seen this before, especially move played here. I wonder if you can guess actually in the opening, what should black play here? Very, very interesting move was played. 5 seconds to pause the video. Okay. f6. If a move like knight c6, that could run into b5 at some point. So f6, trying to get support for that d pawn. d3, and of course blunting the bishop potentially if it goes to b2. e5, so black is setting up a dark square occupation. And now with the pawn hit on b4, white protects it with a3 protecting b4. We have c5. And white plays it like a Benko Gambit in reverse with the move g3. Very, very interesting. C takes, bishop g2. So Viktor Korchnoi trying to play very dynamically and aggressively. Knight c6, white castles, a5. Here now e3, trying to undermine white's centre. And now bishop g4, trying to keep the pressure on d4 intact. We have now h3, and it looks as though this is a double-edged decision. With the light squares weakened, Yasser Seirawan still plays bishop takes f3 here. Quite often we've seen in games of neural networks, especially Leela, giving up a bishop of a certain colour. There's often pressure on the other colour. Here, black really wants to maintain this dark square structure. If the bishop had gone to h5, g4, bishop g6, this actually looks very, very promising for white with the king, the black king still in the centre. White could get a lot of compensation. White does seem to be slightly better overall. So that looks pretty shattered for black. So just taking on f3 was played. Bishop takes. Perhaps with the queen eyeing b3, if queen takes, there is the possibility of playing b3. So maybe that wanted to be stopped. So bishop takes f3. We have now bishop c5. Bishop d5, it seems a nicely entrenched bishop. Knight g e7. But has it weakened the king side? It's left that fianchetto position. e4. And now actually black takes on d5, allowing a seemingly quite aggressive pawn on d5. Knight e7. Check. It's already the case that black seems a bit better here. If king g2, castling this position, black does seem to be just a pawn up for quite a solid pawn up still. Black seems to be fine there. This check may be making things worse for white. We have queen d7, which is offering the exchange of queens, which white really doesn't want an endgame. And it's also hitting h3. And this might not have been Korchnoi's day, really. We see a retreat to queen b3. Yes, this might have been an off day. I did check the other games. Korchnoi had a pretty good performance overall. This does seem to be one of his off games here, because why is h3 hanging? Is there some dynamic compensation? So interesting questions here. Why not just take that? But actually a4 was played. It turns out here, queen takes h3. It doesn't seem to be a deep trap here. A takes, bishop takes. This position, there's no queen sack or anything because there's always knight c8. If queen takes here, I don't believe this is winning the rook necessarily. White can do this. I mean, black can do this. So it's not as if there's a queen sack here. So it does seem queen takes h3. This position is plausible for black. And should be getting an advantage, for example, like this, even if a queen sack there is needed. This is very, very promising for black, this kind of thing. So anyway, a4 was inserted though before queen takes h3. We have queen c4, and now hitting the bishop just drops back. And this does mean actually there's a huge threat of rook c8 winning the queen, almost, if the queen couldn't retreat to a2. So, and that looks, menacing for b3 then, if the queen has to go to a2. So we have a takes b4. And now actually gaining a tempo, a valuable tempo, b5. So there's a protected passed pawn here on a4, and black has the luxury on taking on h3. This does seem a total disaster of Viktor Korchnoi here, this game. Yeah, his king's being compromised, no fianchettoed bishop. Black has a protected outside a pawn. And there's also this rook, which can be used for a hack attack, basically. Knight a3, rook b8. Yes, white is without counterplay. This bishop hasn't got much scope on c1. We have rook b1, h5, just going for it. It looks absolutely crushing. Queen e2. We have the move g5 here now. Now queen f3, h4, queen g2, queen goes to g4, g takes, and yes, Seirawan doesn't mind the queens coming off. He takes here, the queens come off, but the black king is perilously placed. I think Korchnoi had enough of this game. There are various ways of winning this. Knight takes d5 was played. So here, knight takes b5 was played in return. If e takes, then the king just moves to make way for the rook to go to h8, mating. King h3, f5, for example, this is just mating. So that would be completely hopeless. But it's completely lost now by this stage. So knight takes b5, king e7 with the threat of rook h8 mating, king h3, and here in this position just f5. So white actually resigned here. If, for example, e takes f5 was played, then just, for example, knight f6 is very, very powerful, just protecting that rook, making way for the killer check, rook h8, to be played soon. So a complete disaster from Viktor Korchnoi. But this line, all the promise was taken out of it in this particular opening variation with f6. If we have a look at this key f6 move, pivotal to the whole thing, giving up the light square bishop to strengthen the dark square strategy, pretty instructive. This variation and other variations like it against knight f3 can be studied at this amazing new Nimzo Rogozin course, which has just been launched today. You can check that on Kingscrusher TV /Nimzo-Rogozin, all small letters. And this course is by the excellent YouTuber you might know as Chess Explained, and also a very, very strong FM who has recently beaten Grandmasters Daniel Barish. So the two have created what's been termed as a lifetime repertoire. So these the Nimzo engine has survived the test of time in terms of popularity. Some openings like King's Engine have gone out of fashion, especially Benoni has gone out of fashion, but the Nimzo engine and the Rogozin system have always been relatively in fashion and are unlikely to go away anytime soon. So they're being called the lifetime repertoire. You can use this course throughout the course of your career, and the popularity shouldn't wane. It's being used at a high level all the time. So if you want to check that out, there's that link there. Okay, hope you got something from this game. Thanks very much.